It's time we give ourselves permission to step into our best selves. Let's get it.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumedh Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I'm talking a little bit about the ideas of sacred reunification. I podcast on the 4th with Rion Kati, and he is an archetypical and allure specialist, and he's really changing the beauty industry from 3D to 5D. And what I started to understand is that a lot of us are missing this male energy, this yang quality. And not enough men give ourselves permission to step into this impersonal, infinite archetypes of the prince or the king or the warrior, where men throughout centuries have related to these archetypes. So if you want a princess, if you want a queen in your life, you got to embody the prince consciousness and the king frequency. So start to understand, it's like the master key system says, if you want power, you got to adopt a power consciousness. If you want money, you've got to adopt a money consciousness. And it starts from there. It starts from being at one with the thing that you desire. So there's a difference between validation and expression. Validation comes from a place where you're unfulfilled. You're seeking something. You're seeking that external reward that makes you feel good, that makes you feel validated, like, oh, this person likes me, or oh, I belong finally. Expression is like a songbird singing a song. It's just its natural way of being. You see what I'm saying? So I make these videos to express myself, not necessarily for the validation points, in a sense, right? And it's really important to separate these two, because we find ourselves at times kind of walking that fine line between ego and egolessness as creators, right? So identity is important. We've got to identify with something, but what if our identity is an actual limit to what we can achieve? So you tell yourself that, hey man, no, I can't, I'm not really a reader, I don't read books and stuff, or yeah, I don't really like doing that personal growth stuff, or whatever. You have some idea of what it means to do that or be that or have that. And so once you change the storyline of what you truly prefer and deserve, this deservingness, this quality of self-worth where you're like, you know what, yeah, I do deserve it, it's my birthright. Abundance is my birthright. To get all these great things are my birthright. And once you slowly start to readjust your identity towards accepting and giving yourself permission to receive these good energies, these good vibes, these blessings from the universe, this gratitude, that you fully look through the experiences of superficial and very, very constricting labels that people give you. You've got to be able to be a walking alchemist. So walking around and taking the comments from people and alchemizing it into this beautiful magnetic energy where it's almost like a factory. It's like they give you this trash and you make it into treasure. And I think that once we slowly start to embody this quality, not only as men, but women as well, there will be this infinity symbol of giving, receiving. And as we slowly start to unmask and unlayer and detoxify and notice the shadows that are emerging throughout culture and society right now, there's too much hiding, there's too much secrecy, there's too much attention to privacy and being like, oh, I can't. But also the thing is, we do need that sacred solace, that space where we can be private with ourselves. And it's interesting that my mentor AZD, he has this art of the private moment where you spend time conjoining with yourself, in a sense. It's a powerful practice, and I highly recommend people to engage with the beast camps and things like this, because that's where I'm getting a lot of source material you could say, like source, it's tapped in. And honestly, as I start to slowly envision what's going on, I start to notice that there is an intensity, and the intensity can almost override a frequency. So the more intensity, more energy you put into something, it can actually completely transform that thing, because energy can only be transformed. It can't be created or destroyed, right? And so once you notice that you have this energy maintenance system throughout your day, where you notice the crests and the troughs, the rises and the drops in your own energy level, and you notice that other people are influencing that, right? Like, there's certain people in your life that might be really, really taking away that energy from you. They're draining you because they're not allowing you to be the freest expression of yourself. You don't even want to speak to them. It's like when you don't want to communicate with somebody, you feel this wall between you. There is this internal block as well, where you are actually seeing your shadow as a person, right? And once you recognize this factor, you open yourself up to the experience of fear, and understand that it's not as scary as you thought or envisioned in your mind. It's really not as scary as you imagine in your mind, right? And there, of course, there is always an adjustment period to anything that you start doing again. It's like shaking off the rust, and shaking off the dust, shaking off the rust. I had that meme that I posted. It's like, hey, yeah, my mentor Vince used to say, metal rusts over time, furniture gathers dust. So if we don't get that momentum moving, we're going to stay stagnant. We're going to become less of our potential, and it's going to slowly have these layers over us, like the dust over furniture if we don't clean it, or the rust of the metal over time. And once we tap into this natural law, this natural rhythm, the same law that makes you digest food and you don't even need to worry about it, like your body knows what it needs to do to digest, right? In a sense, there is this process that the cells are having these interactions within your body as we speak. And so start understanding that there is this natural healing process of your own body. And once you can access that, you can access a direct correlate with source energy and your own progress or progression in your own flow state activation journey, okay? So this is kind of what I wanted to say to you guys today is, expressing yourself is caring so much about the other person, and validation is not caring at all, in a sense. It's all about me, me, me. So when you can go from a me energy to we frequency, that's when you're starting to take on more light. Because light is truth, it is out there, it is free, you can see it, it is open, it is basking, it is glorious, it is radiant, it is emanating. But darkness hides in the shadows. Darkness is constricted. And there is a power to the darkness as well, obviously. So start to understand that you got to be your own guru. Guru, the word meaning darkness to light. Okay? So start to understand this, and it's going to be a powerful revelation for you, and I hope that your journey on this road to accessing flow state becomes easier with these little mindset switches. And if you need some help with this, obviously you know where to find me. Reach out. I'll help you through this process, because there's a lot of divine yang energy missing from a lot of men, and there isn't that sense of certainty in the spirituality element of it, because spirituality has been made to be very feminized and very, very almost plastered on with an artificial lens, rather than actually getting to the core truths and the deep wound healing that we need for this to actually be more accessible, because we're giving ourselves space, we're allowing ourselves to tap in to this greater consciousness. So have an incredible day, may the flow be with you, and stay legendary. Let's get it today, Upward Spiral Gang.